Welcome back to Skee TV, coming to you from the heart of Hollywood. Now, before we get to our final performance of the evening with Action Bronson, it's time for the red pill. The music business is at war again, this time with itself. The economics have changed, all because labels ignored Napster and the internet when it came out and have been stuck on a downslope since. MP3s did okay, but never replicated the success or money of physical items. The general consensus is that the streaming is the future. You basically pay $10 a month and get access to anything you want, anytime, anywhere. In the music business heyday, the average consumer would spend about $80 a year on CDs, so this model surpasses that financially. Spotify set the stage here and has the lion's share of the market. However, it's being attacked. Artists like Taylor Swift have taken a stand against the service, saying it only pays out pennies in royalties, which is true. However, Spotify would argue that's if they weren't partially owned by the record labels or contractually barred from talking about this fact that they pay the labels directly, who then in turn trickle down pennies on the dollar to the artist, which would be nothing new. Even when CDs sold millions of copies, artists often only saw a fraction, if anything, of those profits. Now, to counteract this, an attempt to entirely cut out the middleman, Jay-Z and 16 of the top artists in the world formed TIDAL, a service that basically is the same as Spotify, but promises a change as it's run by the artists. It's equivalent to the artists starting their own record store because they want to sell and make both the wholesale and retail profits from their music. If you take away the botched launch that made it look like the rich only wanting to get richer and the fact that they completely ignored new artists, it actually kind of makes sense at first. But my question is, what about the artists 5 years from now who feel the same way about having to split profits with Jay-Z and other owners? Will they do the same and then start their own service then, fragmenting the market even further? Now, I first reported last year that Jay-Z and Beyonce were working on a joint album, which by the way is finally nearing completion, and now my sources are saying it will be released exclusively on TIDAL. The risk here is the same thing that happened with Jay-Z's exclusive album with Samsung, a project that leaked as Samsung servers crashed unintentionally, making it ironically only available to people who illegally downloaded it. History has shown if you make something closed in, people will always find a way around it. Now, on the other side, Apple and Beats are also attempting to lure some of the top artists into exclusive deal with its service, and will feature programming on the new Apple Music that is being unveiled in June, with shows and curation from Dr. Dre himself, Zane Lowe, and other key figures. Spotify is already gearing up its own exclusive and will be spending a ton of money to keep its lead. Now, the only problem with all this is the fact that the music business still needs the mass market to jump into this streaming world. And by fighting it out amongst each other before the market matures, they risk losing consumers even further who don't want to have to subscribe to multiple services to hear the albums they want. I think $9.99 a month is reasonable, but if you have to pay that 3 times over in order to hear all the different things you want, it's a much tougher ask. What has gone unnoticed during all this hoopla is something Tyler, the Creator, did with his Golf Media app. Released under the radar with no flashy or glitzy marketing campaign, I heard Golf Media achieve more paid signups on its first day than TIDAL did, with 16 of the biggest stars in the world backing it. Why did it work? Because it was born from creativity with no overbearing push. Just amazing content that did the marketing work on its own. He didn't even mention it during his headlining set at Coachella. This proves that one fact remains. Music and art are never going away. Even as the distribution changes and corporations risk the business side of its future by fighting it out with each other, great and authentic content will always succeed in spite of old marketing that tries to force things down consumers' throats. Competition can push creativity. I just ask and hope that the music biz learns from its past mistakes and does what's best for the listener instead of killing itself again. Speaking of new music platforms, Snoop Dogg just launched his very own station on Dash Radio, which is the best music app in the world, I think. And we caught up with him to break the news exclusively here on Skee TV.
What up, though? This is Big Snoop Dogg, and I'm gonna try to check me out on Cadillac Music, courtesy of Dash Radio. That's my new radio station, coming at you live and direct, where we'll be playing great music. Something for the low riders, for the people who like to slow it down and really enjoy music the way I do. That's why I want to dedicate this to you, Cadillac Music on Dash Radio. And you're hearing about it first, right here on Skee TV. That's Cadillac Music. Dash Radio, baby.
No genres, no commercials, free radio. Download the Dash Radio app now.